Kenechukwu. You're welcome, and in this session, I'll be showing us how we can actually get to build our custom controls. Power Apps already provided us with some buttons, but if you choose to, you want to create your custom, like let's say your custom header, your custom button, your custom search box, you can do that using Power Apps containers. So without wasting much time, let's get started. And here's the magic. All right. So as we can all see, this is a Power App button, which is the normal classic button. So if I click on insert and I type button, for instance, button. If I type button, I get to have my normal classic button. I can drag it here and we can see how this is looking. We can see how this button is looking. If I want to increase the height, let's say I want to give it a height of 45, for instance, and we can see how it is looking. Let's play this and see. You can see how this is looking. If you now say, oh, I don't want to use this, I want to create my own button, you want to do that. So we can actually do that with using containers. All right, so this is Power Apps, a low code, no code platform. Low code in the sense that you just have to have a basic knowledge, probably none. Once you can use Excel, you can actually build Power Apps. So the no code aspect of it, it's just more like a drag and drop, just like you saw when I just on click of button, I added the button here. All right, so without wasting much time, this is Power Apps and it's one of the Microsoft tools which you can use to create your business applications. All right, so I'll be adding container, the non-responsive container. We have different types of container, which I showed us on the previous video. We have the horizontal container, which is responsive, and we also have the vertical container, which is responsive, and we also have the normal non-responsive container, and that is what we'll be using for building this custom button. So I'll just type in container. Once I type in container, you can see the search brought out the horizontal container, vertical container, and also the normal non-responsive container. So I'll just select it and I'll drag it down. Try to see if I can drag it down. To the right so this is what we'll be using for our button. Alright, so this is the non-responsive container. Trying to move it up a little. Alright, so now I can now turn the drop shadow off, set the drop shadow to none. Then I'm giving it a border radius. We're giving it a border radius of 10. So I want the border, a solid border, but I want to give it a very small border. So I'll make it 0.1. So then the height, we want to make it the same. Let's make it the same height with this one. This one, the height is 55. So I'll just change the height of these two. Either you make use of this property pane, you look for the height. This is height. Height is currently 200. So we change it to 55. So we can see. Then the width. We can say the width is 500. So we want to make it let's say 120. 150. Let's make it a little bit. So you can see our button is getting ready. So the next thing is to add inside this button. So to avoid confusion, you can just rename this your container to custom what's it called? Custom let's say custom button. So I'm renaming it custom button. So this is different. Okay, this is this is the container. Then why are you? This is a container. This is okay. This is button. This is label. This is text box. This is button one. All right. So inside this, we now insert a text label. We say insert. Go to insert. Then you type text label just for the text. Text label for text. Text label. Text label. Sorry. All right. Text label. So I would. The text will be. Let's use submit. Alright, so we want the height of this text label to be parent.height. So we'll just go to property pane, change, look for the height property. Either you do it from the drop down here, or you go to the property pane by your right and you just check for the height. And so currently the height is 40. So I want to make it parent.height. So I'll just type parent.height. So parent.height is taking the height of the which is this custom container height. So the width also width. I want to make it parent.width. Parent.width. Then you change the x and y. X and y, make them to be 0 so that it can align. Alright, so if I play this, we now have our button. But you see, it is not giving us, it is not clickable. If you hover on this button, you can see that clickable, that hand clickable this thing. So for you to make it, you can see it's not giving us that look and feel of a button. So but that can be done by just adding a transparent button to the container. So I can choose to give it a field. I have a field called, I can give it a field called primary field. Let's say primary. I have a variable which I called it primary. Pick up now primary. Okay, primary color. You can see the primary color is this. Then the color of our text input, we can make it white so that it can be visible proper. So the color, you can just quickly color dot white. Color dot white, you can see it is now looking nice. So the next thing is to make it clickable like a button. You can see there's no, this is a button, you can see. Alright, so the next thing is to just remove it from preview. I can just click on this, on the container itself, add a button. So we want to add a transparent button. So I will just click on this container, then click on insert a button. So once I click on insert a button, it will add the normal classic button and you can see the colors. So I have to make it transparent. So take out the text, the x and y should be 0. Then the height should be parent.height, parent the width for the width. Also the same thing for the height, parent.height. I hope we are following. The same thing for the height is parent.height. You can see it is now the same size with the parent container. So the next thing is to make it, you can see the color has actually covered. So to change the field to make it transparent, so you now click on, either you go through the drop down and search for field, or you go to your property pane and you can see color, which is the text color. Then this is a field. Then this is means transparent. Either you go through here and search for field, or you set field, then you change it manually, color dot transparent. You see color dot transparent, it will bring it out. You can see now it is now transparent. So the next thing is, if I you can see it's now looking like a button, but the hover on hover now, it's still giving us the we need to take out the hover fill. So I now go back to my property pane, click on the button, then button 8, go down, scroll down to the hover. This is the hover color, it's still pointing to blue. So I can just change it to color dot transparent. Color dot transparent. So I can copy the same thing and go to the press fill. So we can see we now have our button ready. So you can click. It's now giving us that. It's now you can see. Alright, so we can also change it, the press fill, so that when you're clicking it, you are feeling. So let's go to this one, and I want to copy the press fill. The press fill, this is the press fill. So I just copy it, Ctrl C, go back to this one on the button. Instead of color dot transparent, I'll paste it. I'll paste this one. So this is a color fade of this. We want to color fade it by 40%. So remember, our fill is a variable that is called primary color. So I want to remove this color and add our primary color, which is primary color. This one now. So we want it to be 40% of this. So we can see now, if I click on this, you can see the effect. You can see it. You can see it. So this is how you can create. Custom button using containers. If you don't want to use your normal Power Apps button, you can create a custom button doing this. Same thing with your text input. You can do the same thing using containers after giving it a height and all that. Also, your custom control. For instance, let me see if I can add a date picker. On your form, on the classic form, for instance, on your classic form, the drop down, there's no property where you can change the border radius. Let's try it. So let's type drop down, for instance. So if I add this drop down here, so I want to drag it down. So this, if you want to give your drop down a rounded edge, for instance, using a classic control, it is very difficult because it doesn't have it. The property, let's check for it. Let's click on this border radius. Type border radius. We only have border thickness, the chevron fill, the chevron hover fill. If you come here, we only have the color, the chevron, the font size, the border. We have border, but to give you the curve, it's not there. So one of the easiest way to do it is just to add a non-responsive container and then add your control inside of it. So let's do that. Let's quickly do that. So the next thing I'll just say insert, the same thing we did for our button. Type in container. This is very useful when you are using your classic form and you want the controls to have, all of your controls to have a border radius. For the normal text input, it has that on your Power Apps form, but for this, it doesn't. So what we'll do is this container 10, we can call it drop down container, so you can easily reference it. Drop down container. Alright, drop down container. So I want to give you the height of 50. Height of 55. Okay, let's say 55. Then height of 55. Maybe we'll give you the width of 300. Then a width of 300. Or let's make it 350. Alright, so once you do this, the next thing is border radius. You give the container the border radius. If you can make it anyhow you want. So I'm saying I'm using 10, then you give it the border. I'm using 0.1. I want to make it light. Then I'm taking out the drop shadow, I'm setting it to none. So once you do this, if you play this, you can see how our container now have the border radius. So the next thing is to copy this and paste it inside these containers. Then, so here's the magic. The magic is just copying this, control, let's cut it, then come to this and paste. So I will now set I will now set the width and height to be the parent dot height and width. So I'll now go to the height and say height is, instead of 40, I'll say parent dot height. Then the width, instead of the instead of the static or this one, I can just say, I'll say parent dot width. Parent dot width. So then the x and y, you set it to 0. So you can see it is now taking the shape of the container, and our control now have the rounded edge. So without this, you cannot really add the border radius to your drop down and maybe your combo box for your classic form. But the modern control, those data card has those border radius. So you can see the magic. Now our control now have, it's now taking the border radius of the car of the container. So the next thing, you can actually decide to take out the border of your drop down so that it will just take the border of the, because you can just assume the border of the container. So I'll make it 0 and I'll set it to none. So if I play it, you can see how neat it is. So the next thing is customization. If you want us to customize this, you can drop it in the comment box. So for here, I think we'll be stopping here because our video is getting long. Thank you for watching, and if you've not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, like and share, so that the algorithm can actually refer these to a whole lot number of people. Thank you very much, and God bless you.